Hello and welcome to this Book the Bot video. This is the third episode of my Building 101 series. This is a series where I teach you how to build. Now, this episode is purely about one thing, which is shape of houses. Now, I've already focused on the roofs and the color palettes of houses, but this is one of the most important things, is the shape of your house. Now, I've shown you two designs here. We have a square house, and we have a rectangle house. Those are okay. Those are pretty okay. But we can make it a house even better with a few simple things. Now, before I get onto that, I'm going to tell you why these could be improved and why they're not that good. These are kind of boring shapes. Squares, rectangles, not much depth. They're okay, but they don't have much depth. So, here's how we're going to make this even better. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to build another house with the almost exact same design as the rectangle house. But we're also going to incorporate some of the square house. Okay guys, I've made a replica of this house, but I'll show you how I can improve it. We're going to move the door to the side, and we're going to do a simple thing. We're going to cut this house apart, kind of. We're going to incorporate both designs of the square and the rectangle into this house. First, we're going to cut off all of this. Then, now, I'm going to just make this a little entryway, like that. Now, look at that. I basically just put the rectangle house and just cut it to where you have a little bit of the square house with this. This little entryway is kind of like a square. But then you also have the rectangle. So basically I combined these two houses to make this. Now, the house is smaller, and it feels a lot smaller than the others, but it still works well, because it definitely feels like there's more depth. With this house, you have one room, okay? One little space. This, you have one little space. But with this, you have an entryway. Let's put some, you have that. Then you have your little corner here, and for your crafting tables and chests. And then you have your bedroom over here. It kind of separates it, and even though you have less space, it feels it's just a lot more interesting instead of just a rectangle or a square. And you can do a lot of different designs with this. If I wanted to, I could add more space to this. How? You know how I just cut away I basically cut back 2 blocks on this, okay? Just cut these 2 blocks away. Well, what if I cut 2 blocks back this way? Now, just look at this. If I just remove those logs, and I remove that, and I make the windows bigger, now it's just a bigger version. It's basically just these two houses combined. I have the square entryway, or kind of square, but you can make it a square if you want. Square entryway, and then you have the rest of your house. Now, with this, I always like having it to where you have an L-shaped house. Where I have the entryway. So I'll show you. Let's get some concrete so I can more easily show you. We have the entryway, which is here. Then we have the rest of the house. It cuts like this, kind of like an L shape. Now, we can also have a kind of like W shape, where you get the sides going further than the middle, kind of like a mansion, like this. And what you'd have is you'd have the entryway here, like this, and then you'd have the edges going out like this. And there's so many ways you can build houses like this, but I'm just gonna build this out, and I'm gonna show you how you can use a W-shaped or an E-shaped design. I'll call it an E-shaped design. Okay, guys, I've made the house, and if you see, it kind of has an E shape. Now, this is a lot more interesting than a rectangle or a square, and that just what makes it has depth. E. So you can either do an E or an L or any kind of shape you find that isn't just a square or rectangle, because that's how you're going to add a lot of that depth to your builds. Okay? And this, along with the color palette, an interesting color palette, will really help your build stand out among the sea of just, of square and rectangle houses. Now, one more thing about the shape, which also is something to take account of, is shape. If you make it a complex shape, it will make a roof harder to put on, but you can still do it easily. So I'm gonna show you. Like with this, you just wrap it all the way around, and then you put the underhang, and then with that, you've got a suitable build. Just like that. And with this, you just have to wrap it around with the diagonals, and there you go. And especially with these more complex builds, I would definitely recommend, instead of the horizontal design over there, I'd recommend the flatten out design, just because it's a lot harder to do horizontal, like going into the middle with a complex house like this. Okay? Now, as you see, this is already so much better than a square or rectangle house. Just always try to make your houses a unique shape. And with that, both of these houses look pretty good. A lot more interesting than just the square and rectangle houses. Now, if you want to save on materials, I'd probably recommend the L house. But if you're fine with materials and you want it to look extra good, maybe try the E design. But either way, try not to make it just a normal square or a rectangle, please. Now, with that, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you guys in the next episode. And goodbye.